biggest games, the best performances, expert analysis. You are Locked On Now.
Welcome into another edition of Locked On Now, local experts on the biggest stories throughout the NBA. I'm your host, Kainani Stevens. Thank you for making Locked On Now your first listen every weekday. Our Locked On NBA hosts give you everything you need to know from last night in the association. So we'll start with Tuesday's biggest game.
The biggest game.
A full team effort by the Heat got the job done for Miami. Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Kyle Lowry, and Tyler Hero all scored at least 22 points as the Heat rolled over the Mavs. Now, Luka Doncic can do a lot for his team, but he can't quite do it all. Kristaps Porzingis missed his fourth straight game with back tightness. Locked On Mavs has more on what Dallas needs to work on going forward.
The Dallas Mavericks fall to the Miami Heat at home, their first loss at home of the season. Nick Engstead from the Locked On Mavericks podcast here, and the Dallas Mavericks fall to the Miami Heat. The big story in this one, Luka Doncic and Jalen Brunson still the only things going for the Mavericks on offense. They, in the third quarter, only scored 21 points, and the Mavericks just couldn't get over it at that point. Miami Heat were able to get anything they wanted to go. The Mavericks were shooting well from three early. They were hot, and then the Miami Heat came back, and they got hot, and the Mavericks just couldn't overcome it. Kristaps Porzingis and Maxi Kleber both out of this game. The Mavericks without two of their best big men, probably their two best big men on the team, and you could really tell. You could tell that Bam Adebayo could get anything he wanted going down low. They didn't go to it as often as I thought they would, but the Miami Heat basically take care of business against the Dallas Mavericks. Luka Doncic and friends didn't have enough offensive firepower, not enough off the bench. Reggie Bullock put in 10 points off the bench, but nobody else with Jalen Brunson in the starting lineup could really bring anything off the bench. We'll talk more about it on the Locked On Mavericks podcast.
The best performance.
Hold up.
The champs rolled over the Pistons as the Greek Freak dropped 28 points to lead the way. Locked On Bucks has more on why this win was crucial to stopping a three-game losing streak and getting Milwaukee back headed in the right direction.
What's up, everyone? Kane Pittman here from Locked On Bucks, and Milwaukee get back on the winners list. 3 straight losses prior to this one. They haven't lost 3 straight for quite a while, or it's been rare over the last few seasons anyway. They win 117-89, which is important. It gets the Bucks back to 4-4 on the season because the health situation just continues to be a major issue for this team moving forward. Pre-game, we heard Chris Middleton has unfortunately tested positive for COVID, so hopefully he and his family is healthy moving forward, first of all. But from the on-court point of view, it meant Giannis was the only starter in this game. It didn't really matter. This was a true men among boys situation. Giannis was too big, too strong, too athletic, and too good in the end. He had 28 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, 4 blocks. Some of those blocks were insane as well. So the poor old Pistons continue to struggle against the Bucks. They've now beaten Detroit 15 times in a row since Mike Budenholzer came to town with an average winning margin of 18 points. So it's been all one-way traffic in this Central Division matchup over the last few seasons. We're going to break it all down, talk about the injuries, talk about Giannis, talk about his shot blocking, some of the other aspects of this game, and as this team, as the Bucks prepare to come home for a big matchup against the New York Knicks. So join us wherever you get your podcast.
The Pistons' struggles continued as they fell to 1-6 after Tuesday's loss. Locked On Pistons breaks down some of the challenges for this team.
Hey, what am I supposed to talk about? They didn't even break 90 points. They lost by 28. I got you, bro. What's the deal, everybody? Host of the Locked On Pistons podcast, Coop Cahill here. The Pistons lose tonight, get absolutely destroyed again by the Milwaukee Bucks, 117-89. Cade Cunningham did play tonight. He played 29 minutes, but he shot 2 of 14 from the field, 0 of 9 from deep. He looked like he didn't really have his legs out there. He was missing a lot of open shots. I'm not too worried about it. I don't think anyone should really be too worried about it. He hasn't played in like a month and a half now, a month. It's not that big of a deal. He'll get his legs back, wait a few more games, and he'll be right back out there. A lot of these shots were open. A lot of shots he shot with confidence. Nothing to be too concerned about, in my opinion, about Cade Cunningham. The rest of the offense, however, extremely concerning. They shot 17% from beyond the arc, 8 of 47. Oh my God. Yeah, the offense sucks. We'll talk about that in tomorrow's episode of Locked On Pistons podcast.
Coming up, our Locked On NBA hosts will help wrap up our look around last night's NBA action on Locked On Now. Welcome back to Locked On Now. I'm your host, Kainani Stevens. Thank you for making Locked On Now your first listen every weekday. Now let's turn again to our Locked On NBA host for a recap of the rest of the action around the NBA.
Let's go around the league.
Donovan Mitchell and Mike Conley showing out for the Jazz as they combined for 66 points in the win over the Kings. Locked On Jazz has more on the win and Utah's 6-1 start.
The veteran savvy of the Utah Jazz pull it off tonight and behind great guard play as well. Hi, I'm David Locke. The Utah Jazz beat the Sacramento Kings 119-113. Mike Conley and Donovan Mitchell both had 30-point nights. Donovan with 36, Mike with 30, and Mike had 13 in the fourth quarter. But the little things a veteran team does. Mike Conley scores at the end of the first, second, and third quarter, each time with 7 or fewer seconds, giving the Jazz a bonus 7 points in a game that was tied with 5 minutes left going down the stretch. For the Jazz, another clutch win, another home win, and they now head back out on another 3-game road trip after notching this one and moving to 6-1 on the season. For more, go to Locked On Jazz tomorrow with our podcast available on all podcasts and YouTube.
The Rockets were looking to avenge a loss to the Lake Show earlier this week and took the game in LA right down to the wire, but they came up just short.
This is Andy Kamenetsky, co-host of the Locked On Lakers podcast, and the Lakers eke out a 119-117 win over the Rockets. And after a lot of talk following Sunday's win over the Cavaliers, Monday's practice about buying into Frank Vogel's defensive principles, not so much in this game. They gave up 70 points in the first half to the Rockets. This is a team that entered this contest averaging 101.5 per game. They were beating the Lakers inside and outside. The second half, the Lakers clamped down-ish defensively, had a couple nice stretches. The fourth quarter, they were fueled by 10 straight points from LeBron. Did enough to get the win, not necessarily one they're going to be that proud of, but they got bigger fish to fry at the moment. The next game is against the Oklahoma City Thunder, who last week they blew a 26-point lead against. A lot more to get into, so make sure you are subscribing to the Locked On Lakers YouTube channel and making Locked On Lakers your first listen wherever you get your podcasts.
The New Orleans Pelicans thought they might win their second game of the season Tuesday against the reigning Western Conference champion Suns, but Chris Paul had other plans in the fourth quarter. New Orleans led by 6 going into it, but lost by 12. Locked On Pelicans and Locked On Suns breaks it all down for us.
Chris Paul is an absolute killer as the Pelicans lose 100-112 to the Phoenix Suns. I'm Jake Madison, host of the Locked On Pelicans podcast and Locked On NBA, and for 3 quarters, the Pelicans without Zion Williamson or Brandon Ingram took it to the Western Conference champions. They were disruptive on the defensive end, grabbing 17 steals. Rookie Herb Jones tormented Devin Booker into 7 of 20 shooting, but while the Pelicans were up 11, Jones left the game after taking an elbow to the face, and the Suns started their run. And in the fourth quarter, Chris Paul came alive and just did everything. He burned the Pelicans in the pick and roll. He hit mid-range jumpers when they played drop coverage. It was just a masterful performance. Credit the shorthanded Pelicans for punching above their weight in Willie Green's return to Phoenix, but sometimes talent just wins out. And this one results in a loss for New Orleans because of it. So for more on Zion Williamson and the rest of the New Orleans Pelicans, make sure you make Locked On Pels your first listen every day.
From one of the worst games we've ever seen from the Suns starting backcourt to a bounce-back win, hopefully a season turnaround win for the Phoenix Suns, 112-100 over the New Orleans Pelicans. Brendan Clean here with Locked On Suns to give you the lowdown. Devin Booker, 9 points in the fourth quarter alone to close this game out. Chris Paul, double-digit assists in the second half, a really, really big turnaround for this team. They looked like they were about to go on national TV, drop a game against the Zion-less, the Brandon Ingram-less Pelicans, and instead they are able to seize this game, win by double digits at home, get a get-right game, get back to 500, and hopefully get on their way back to actually looking like they're trying to defend their Western Conference title. For more on these Suns as they look to continue to keep this momentum, listen to Locked On Suns wherever you get your podcasts.
That's a wrap for us. Thank you for making Locked On Now your first listen every day. For more on the association and your team, you can check out Locked On NBA and your local NBA Locked On podcast. I'm Kainani Stevens. This has been Locked On Now.